Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of The Cosmic Optimist. I'm your host, Carissa Renteria. And if you've been following, you know that today was supposed to be Spiritual Wanksters Supposedly Conspiracy Realist, but I changed it at the last minute. So I'm going to push that episode to 4 or 5. And the reason why I did it was because something came up in my life, and I feel that it's important to share what's going on, you know, as I as I go through the humps and bumps of this spiritual journey. So today, I haven't even really thought of the title, but it's going to be Haters from a Higher Perspective. Why we attract haters into our life, and why are we haters? So guys, when this happens, I think, to all of us. I think we've all experienced haters, and especially on social media. Now, my Facebook page is very, very, very private. I have it on lockdown, and it's on private, and I'm very careful of who I invite into my space. It's like my living room. I'm an open book there, and you know, I don't mind anyone sharing their beliefs. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care, as long as you're not shitting on my lawn with your bullshit. So, guys, this has happened, and when this happens, because I am working on boundaries, I do take a step back, and I will ask myself, okay, what do I need to learn from this? How should I respond to this situation? Because guilty as charged, I have been known to stick my foot in my mouth, and I can have a really sharp tongue, and I don't have a problem lashing out, right? So this time I feel that I handled it in a very tactful, classy way. Maybe a little, but that's okay. She deserved it. So, guys, all I want to say is, if you're on my Facebook page and you want to take a dump on my lawn, I'm going to hand you a doggy bag, and that's about as polite as I'm going to be. And then I'm going to step back, and I'm going to decide if I want to keep you on my page or not. So, in this instance, I decided to block this person. And the reason being was because after that incident, you know, she was jabbing in her romper room insult way on her page and alluding to just trying to give me hints about what she thought of me. So I said, you know what, I don't need a person in my living room who doesn't like me and who's competing with me and who I feel jealousy from. So, you know, because this show is about everything from things that we experience from a higher perspective, I want to share with you guys one of my lessons in my Divine Soul Plan. By the way, this is my Divine Soul Plan. A Divine Soul Plan pretty much is like your life blueprint. And Glenn Russell, who we talked about in episode 2, he downloaded I think it was like 35 pages of my Divine Soul Plan, and this is filled with a lot of truth bombs. So much truth that I couldn't read it for 8 months because it was just really difficult. And it's still difficult to read at times because it's stuff that I don't want to look at and face sometimes, but I know that I'm working through it. So this is like my Bible now. And interestingly, part of my Divine Soul Plan that I chose to experience in this lifetime is as a spiritual test. And I'm going to read you part of this because I think this is great, and you guys may be able to relate to this. So anyway, instead of being in the victim consciousness, this is what I want to say. Before, you know, because I've dealt with a lot of haters, a lot of women who are jealous, and I've been jealous too of women, right? So guilty as charged. We've all been assholes. We've all been haters, but I have really, really, really experienced a lot of hate. And I used to think, oh my God, why? Oh my God, they hate me. They're assholes, bitch, this. But really, from a higher perspective, no one is a victim. No one on this planet is a victim. So, you know, when I started working with Glenn and my other healers, it was easy to understand why I was attracting all of these types of people into my life. And so when I understood why, it's easier to take a step back and react from a place of wisdom instead of reacting from a place of bitch, which I'm pretty good at. So here we go. So here in my Divine Soul Plan, it says, you will attract me, Carissa, because this is mine. You will attract many people into your life who despise you as a spiritual test to help you develop tolerance of their intolerance, which is so challenging. So if you react with intolerance, you will be teaching intolerance. And if you react with tolerance, you will be teaching tolerance. When you can transcend this intolerance of others, you will have mastered an important aspect of your primary life purpose. I have not mastered this test. However, I feel that I was pretty good these last few days with this person. And every time something like this happens, or just anything in my life, I always ask myself, as you should, okay, did I create this, right? In this lifetime, is this part of balancing karma from many, many lifetimes ago? And what do I have to learn from this person? Or, is it something like this, where I am teaching tolerance? Now, just because I'm teaching tolerance, and my Divine Soul Plan says that I have to, respond with love and tact or whatever, it doesn't mean that I have to take the abuse. And I felt that it was going into that area. Her comments were very condescending. And I said, okay. I didn't respond back with bitch, which I'm really good at. I was actually pretty cool, calm, and collected. And I kind of chuckled when I read her comments. And I said, okay, I'm going to leave it there. But, we don't have to accept the abuse. And you do have to draw boundaries. And it's okay to stand up for yourself and say, I am not going to allow you to step all over me. So the best thing to do is block. I can't prevent people, maybe even some of you guys, who are jealous of me and who are haters, and you can say whatever you want about me. But I give you permission. I don't care. But I think it's important that we realize that we're not a victim. In any circumstance, we're never a victim. And that's one of the most difficult spiritual truths to digest. Especially when it's, a situation can be very tragic. We sometimes say, well, you're just, I've been called insensitive because I try to share a higher perspective on things that are going on in the world, or just situations in people's lives. And so so I'm pretty careful in terms of that. Now, I want to bring up something from the Resurrection and the Life that I presented in episode 2 that Glenn also downloaded. By the way, guys, if you don't know who Glenn Russell is, please watch episode 2. He's amazing. People have had nothing but amazing things, great things to say about him and their experience with the donation-based emotional freedom technique session that he offers. So, in the Resurrection and the Life, there is a 144-day meditation that is very, very mind-blowing. It's just so mind-blowing, but it's really difficult too. It's really difficult to stick with because you have to face your bullshit. I've said that a lot. But here it goes. So I'm going to read this. He says, transforming the competitive ego mind with the seed of divine service to embody God justice. Now, I've been competitive, right? Just as you have been competitive. And anybody who's denying that they've been competitive is in denial. We've all been competitive. All of us, okay, guys? We all have ego. Nobody is free of their ego. So I'm going to read something that I think is so important because every time I have to face my bullshit, right? And I want to learn the lesson in every situation, even though sometimes I like to fight. You know what I mean? Sometimes I want to argue. I don't mind expressing my my bitch. So, but here it is. At the end of the day, I have to be honest with myself and say, okay, what am I learning from this? And how am I going to transcend this lesson? So why do you compete with others? And he says, the answer is you want to be supreme. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I do feel competition and jealousy, right? Just as many of you do from women. And instead of sitting here and saying, they're jealous of me, fucking bitches or haters and blah, 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 blah. Nah, I want to know, what do I need to learn from that? And because it is part of my divine soul plan, I think I have to really take a closer look at it and come from a place of love and forgiveness, not necessarily inviting them over for tea and cookies, because I personally don't care for any of the people who have been jealous of me in that sense, but I can keep them at arm's length and say, I respect you, right? I respect you as being part of God, but I also have to set my boundaries and self-respect. I'm not going to allow you in my space. So back to this, it says, why do you compete with others? The answer is you want to be supreme, and you want other parts of God, who are other souls, to worship you as supreme. You certainly don't want to worship others because you believe others are inferior to you and should worship you. Each one of your experiences thus becomes a new opportunity for you to shine in the spotlight and be worshipped in your mind by others. You believe you are owed this worship experience and feel a deep sense of injustice when denied this opportunity to be worshipped by others. So it's a lot to take in, because when we start talking about spiritual truths that are coming from a higher place of learning, it's not easy. It's not easy to accept, because no one wants to take, it's difficult to take responsibility for yourself. And that's exactly what I mean when I say taking responsibility for yourself. I don't mean going out and getting a job and being financially independent. I mean really, really facing your bullshit. And so, I'm glad that this came up, because that isn't the first time I had to block someone. I normally don't like to block or unfriend people, but if they push me that far, I'm going to draw the line, and it's done. So I hope that you can take some of what I shared today and apply it into your own life and try to understand where other people are coming from, so that it's easier to forgive, right? Forgiveness from a place of love instead of trying to blame. Because I've seen a few videos of people saying, they just hate me. They're just so jealous of me. But yeah, there's a reason. There's a reason why we all feel jealousy at one point or another. And also, I want to make clear here, because some people have asked me questions. So I think I need to clarify. People have asked, well, why are you calling out these people? So I just want to say that 99.2% of the time, my assessment of other people is pretty darn accurate. So if I feel that you are not walking the spiritual path with integrity, if I feel that you are just lying about so many things, I'm going to call you out. And I'm not necessarily going to say your name, right? Even though I know I could. But I'm not going to share your name with the world. And the reason is not to sit here and say, nanny, boo-boo, you know what I mean? I'm better than you. But it's more about saying, telling you there is a better way, right? Why are you living this lie when you don't have to? There's a better way. And, it's about challenging people to raise their level of consciousness. So I think I needed to make that clear, because I really don't care, guys. You may or may not be the next Walter Mercado. I don't care. It may be in your divine soul plan. I know what I'm working through. I have my divine soul plan. I have this divine soul plan, by the way. If he brings it back, it's incredible. It was only $25 for like 30 pages. It has your life purpose, what you're here to do. It has the psychological imbalances you're supposed to be balancing, the karmic crap that we all come in with that we need to balance. And without completing this, we don't ascend off the cycle of rebirth. So I'm going to get more into that later, but I wanted to clear that up, and I just wanted to share with you my perspective on haters. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next time for Spiritual Wankster, supposedly conspiracy realist. Bye-bye.